The next video is the next installment for the world's greatest ghost, and we're up to the Menace of Berkeley Square. London's elegant Berkeley Square is today as calm and peaceful as any such place in the middle of a bustling capital can be. Office workers spend their summer lunchtimes relaxing on its lawns, while after dark gamblers and revellers flock to its clubs and casinos. And traffic speeding through this fashionable area of Mayfair makes it hard for tourists to hear the nightingale immortalised in a wartime hit song. But less than a century ago, Berkeley Square was the most feared place in Britain. For the house at number 50, today a bookshop, was the home of the deadliest spectral killer of all time. Even now, no one is sure exactly what caused the deaths that alarmed Victorian England, for few who saw the killer lived to tell the tale. Those who survived generally became incoherent with sheer terror. The house was already the talk of the town when Sir Robert Warboys accepted a foolhardy challenge at his club, White's. The handsome adventurer scoffed when friends discussed the possible causes of the disasters at number 50, and vowed to spend a night there to prove that talk of supernatural happenings was nonsense. The owner of the house, a man called Benson, was reluctant to allow the experiment, but Sir Robert would not be dissuaded. He agreed under pressure to take a gun with him, and Benson insisted that Sir Robert's friends and himself stand guard on the floor below the bedroom, where he would spend the night. If anything strange happened, the young aristocrat was to pull a cord which rang a bell in a room on the first floor. Sir Robert retired at 11:15 p.m. after a good dinner. Just 45 minutes later the bell began to jangle. As the rescue party raced upstairs, they heard a shot. They burst into the room to find Sir Robert slumped across the bed, his head dangling over the side. He was dead, but not from a bullet wound. His eyes bulged in terror, his lips were curled hideously above clenched teeth. He had died of fright. Intrigued by this and other stories about the deadly house in Berkeley Square, Lord Lyttelton resolved to investigate the mystery and arranged to spend a night in the room where Sir Robert had died. He took along 2 guns, one filled with shot, the other with silver sixpenny pieces, charms to ward off evil spirits. During the night he fired the barrel of coins at a shape that leapt at him. In 1879 he published the full details of the ordeal in his book, Notes and Queries. He concluded that the room was supernaturally fatal to body and mind. Lyttelton's researches included the discovery that a girl who had stayed at the house as a guest had been driven mad by terror. A man who had slept one night in the haunted room had been found dead next morning, and the maid of a family renting the place had died in hospital after being found crumpled on the floor whimpering, "Don't let it touch me." Not surprisingly, few people were anxious to move into the house. For years it stood empty, its paintwork peeling, its secret undisturbed. Then in December 1887 the frigate Penelope docked in Portsmouth, and its crew went ashore to head for home. 2 sailors, Edward Blunden and Robert Martin, arrived in London on Christmas Eve. With little money and no lodgings for the night, they wandered the streets for a while before finding themselves in Berkeley Square. They soon discovered the to let signs outside number 50. There was no doubt that the house was vacant, and the men decided to spend the night there. They wandered through the neglected rooms, arriving at last in a second-floor bedroom which seemed in better order than the others. Martin was soon asleep, but his shipmate was nervous. As he tossed and turned, Blunden heard strange footsteps scratching along the corridor outside their door. He woke Martin, and the two watched, hearts racing as the door slowly opened and something large, dark and shapeless entered the room. Blunden darted towards the fireplace and grabbed something he could use as a weapon. As the intruder went after the terrified sailor, Martin seized a chance to escape through the open door. He raced down the stairs and ran for help. In nearby Piccadilly he blurted his story to a police constable, and 2 men hurried back to the house. They were too late. The shattered body of Blunden, his neck broken, his face fixed in a grimace of unimaginable terror, was sprawled on the basement steps. And that ends that installment for the world's greatest ghosts.